Wahoo, Katy Trail, Missouri, along the Missouri River. Today's Wahoo adventure starts near Columbia, Missouri, halfway between Kansas City and St. Louis. We put it in a point 8 miles from Columbia called Providence, and it's a little too remote. It adds an extra 4 miles on the trail. So this shows, there's plenty of parking and you can get there easy enough, but we suggest you put in at McBain. It's a little nicer put-in point. And then you'll be going through another about 8 miles through Rockport, real nice place, and eventually end up in Boonville. So this is the start. The trail is real crushed gravel. It follows a railroad. This is the Katy Trail, follows a railroad for 125 miles from St. Louis clear out to almost the end of Missouri. They've changed it into this trail, and we're just taking a 25-mile or so portioned from Providence to Boonville, depending, but tree lined. We picked this part because they said it was shade a good part of the way. It's early June, temperature about 90, so it should be a pleasant day. This is why we drove to Columbia to get this portion of the trail. Dead squirrel. But this is delightful, and since it follows a railroad. Oh, we got something up above here. What is this? Sightseeing trip. Eagle Bluffs Overlook. She's tempted. Trail goes that way. Eagle Bluffs Overlook this way. You can take this hike with a Bluffs Overlook, but it's an extensive trail. And it says it's strenuous, so we decided to continue on with our bike ride. Eventually the next stop and end point is McBain, or another place where you could park and start from. But it just crosses one road and the trail keeps on going. This is the old McBain train station, at least where it was, and they give you the history of McBain. We came down the plank road to get to where we were going. And this is the Katy Trail State Park, one portion of it, and on it goes. We came down the plank road to get to our Providence endpoint. It looks like Columbia needed a port on the Missouri River, so they built a road out of wood planks. 10 miles. So this is, again, was part of a railroad, so boy, the infrastructure is here and just makes for Hershey Creek. Pretty cool, but really nice, a nice trestle. Interesting, the river is flowing to the east. I guess that's right, because we're this side of the divide. Beautiful part of the river here, and it's showing that another encampment of the Lewis and Clark expedition right below these bluffs and downstream from here on June 6th, 1804. So the other interesting thing about this is look how wide the trail is. So we can ride easily side by side. And we're riding on in the midweek in summertime, and so hardly any traffic. So that's another good clue. So far, very pleasant ride. We're 8.5 miles into our trip today, however long we decide to go, but continues to stay largely tree lined and just birds and the river. A nice place to stop You could call it an endpoint or an endpoint. Rock Point Port, or Rockport. It's at the Katy Trail State Park. Stop is along here, and nice little stopping point and places to park. This would be a good place to stop or start. This is the only tunnel they cut into the trail, so we'll see what it looks like. Cool part. The last 8 miles of this is pretty straight through farmland, and it leaves the Missouri River, so it's not quite as interesting. So I suggest you put in at Rockport and ride eastward the other way. I think is a much prettier ride, more enjoyable. But Boonville is a delightful town, so if you do end up in Boonville, you can arrange to have this shuttle service called CBAM Shuttle, 660-621-3488. He saved our hide because I couldn't get an Uber to get back.